My name is Daniel Silke. I'm a political analyst. In fact, I do more than just politics. Unusually, I suppose, I cover politics and economics, and I like to call myself a political economist. With me, effectively, you get quite good value. If you want an economic overview of where we're at in South Africa, come to me. If you want a political overview married in with the economics, also come to me. Now, a lot has happened in the last 13 days. That was the scene in the South African Parliament 13 days ago. And I've had more questions about should I stay in this country or should I go, re-emerge in the last 13 days than I've had probably since 1994. What I like to do certainly is I like to look at the reasons why this happened. And I've been telling my clients for the last year, fasten your seatbelt. Some clients don't want to hear the fasten your seatbelt message in South Africa. But I've been telling my clients that we're moving into a much more competitive and combustible political era. It's not necessarily negative, my friends, because I think we need to go through this era in order to come out the other side. But what we saw 13 days ago was a sort of a nasty flash forward into the future, a future that probably none of us really want. And are we going to go into that future, or are we going to take another path? That's what I cover in my presentations. I like to talk about the challenges facing South Africa. Perhaps we should have the West Indies or the Australians up there more apt in the next week or so. But the challenges facing South Africa are huge. Yes, of course, the challenges are load shedding. And the economic, do love that picture, I must tell you, the economic implications of load shedding are huge. This afternoon in the budget, we will hear revised budget estimations for GDP figures for South Africa that will be negatively affected by load shedding. Our currency has declined, which is very, very good for our export sector. Marvelous. The petrol price, of course, is a boon to you. You've seen some benefit to your pocket, but we'll see this afternoon that petrol price being taxed again. So what you've gained in the last few months, you may well lose this afternoon. I keep my presentations very, very current, and I customize them as far as possible for my clients, be they in the agricultural sector, engineering sector, retail sector, or elsewhere. I'm very concerned in South Africa about a barrage of laws that are being introduced. Now, these all create uncertainty in South Africa. They tend to negatively impact upon sentiment, and it's very important to look at some of these laws being introduced and question what's in them and how will it affect investment. How will the new plans to limit the size of farms, for example, in South Africa and limit foreign ownership of farming land in South Africa affect our economy? Given all of this, we need to look into the future, and we need to see what's going to come next in South Africa. All of us want to know who will be the next leader in South Africa. Maybe it'll be one of those two up there on the screen, Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma and, of course, Cyril Ramaphosa. We'll discuss that in my presentations. I'm watching the budget very, very closely. When I leave here, I'm doing presentations on the budget to assess whether we have enough money in South Africa to pay the increasing bills in this country. Can we pay for national health care? Can we pay to bail out Eskom? All of that will come out in the budget this afternoon. And, of course, my presentations also take a more global view of the world. I must tell you, how does the outside world impact upon South Africa? 11 million people in a little small country called Greece, a very beautiful country, but 11 million people undergoing great economic hardships has a substantial impact not only on Europe, but us in South Africa. And I like to discuss the global context as well when I speak and when I do presentations. Africa, absolutely. Well, that's the 50 Shades of Greece. I think we need to go back. Yes, that was the Greece slide. Don't you love the Greece slide? 11 million people and a movie, I might add, having a tremendous influence upon our lives. Africa is becoming more important. My clients want to know whether it is worth investing in Africa and where in particular should they invest, where geographically, and which sectors are going to be the growth sectors into the future. Africa perhaps holds the most promise for us as an economy ready to move out. And we've seen what the ShopRites have done. We've seen what the MTNs and Vodafoms have done throughout this continent. I do entire presentations on Africa, which I think is increasingly important for us, given our more stagnant growth rates and markets here in South Africa. And finally, of course, my clients always want a light at the end of the tunnel. They want to see that South Africa is not alone when it comes to disruptions of parliaments, in particular across the world. That, my friends, is the parliament in Kiev in the Ukraine. those members of parliament in Kiev really go for it as well, we shouldn't feel so bad that we've now matured to a level where our competition, in a sense, perhaps being fought out in parliament. We now watch that parliamentary channel more than we've ever watched before, I can assure you, but we're not alone, and perhaps we're just part of the rest of the world changing. I hope you book me, Daniel Silke, political economist. Thank you very, very much.